Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to discuss the benefits of home dialysis. You may be dialyzing in a clinic where you have a home program in your clinic, or it's just a in-center clinic and there's no patients who come there to do home dialysis. You may not be able to run across someone who does home. So I'm going to talk about some of the benefits that you can experience as a home dialysis patient. The number one benefit of being a home dialysis patient is that you control your treatment. You may think that's not a benefit, Stephanie, that's a negative. Well, depending on how you look at it. If you're the type of person who enjoys learning and being educated on dialysis techniques, procedures, and this, that, and the other, then you'll probably enjoy or welcome the challenge to run your own dialysis. I don't want to call these people controlling, although some of them may be. They're just more of the assertive type of patient where you know where you're supposed to be stuck, you know your blood flow rate, you understand about the dialysate flow rate when you're on the in-center side. And so these are people who typically ask a lot of questions, can really understand the rationale behind why they do everything that they do in dialysis. Those are usually people who enjoy doing their own treatment. They enjoy having the control. They enjoy being in charge of their care, and it gives them a sense of empowerment. So you could say it's empowering. If I can talk, if I can talk today, it's empowering for patients to learn how to do their dialysis and then go home and do it safely, effectively, and then they start to feel great. They feel wonderful. It's like, they feel like I'm in charge again. Okay. This is something that I have control over. And so they kind of feel empowered, I'll just say. I'm just rambling, right? It builds their confidence because they're able to go home and do their dialysis, be safe, be happy, and have a sense of freedom. They have a lot of, they also feel better. When you do your dialysis at home, typically you're going to do it more often than what you would do in center. And you might say, that ain't a benefit. No, it is a benefit because the more dialysis you have, you're getting closer and closer to what normal kidney function is like. Because a lot of people forget or don't even know that dialysis only provides you about 25% of what your natural God-given kidneys provide you. When your kidneys were working and your GFR was 90, 95, percentage points, whatever, you feel great, you feel wonderful, you're urinating, you're doing whatever. Dialysis only gives you 25% of that. And so home dialysis, whether you do daily dialysis or whether you do peritoneal dialysis, your blood is going to be cleaned more often than someone on the in-center side. So, So if your blood is being cleaned more often, you're typically going to feel better. You're going to have more energy. I've seen some patients who did in-center for a number of years and for whatever reason decided that they wanted to do home dialysis. They got trained, they got evaluated, what have you, and then they started doing the therapy. And then they'll come back and say, oh my God, Stephanie, I really feel so much better doing home dialysis. So oftentimes people feel better when they can succeed and do their home dialysis effectively, appropriately. They actually will feel better. You may run across a home patient who'll say, I did home. It didn't work out for me. I felt like a dog. But then when you ask a few questions and get to the bottom of it, they actually may or may not been doing the treatments like they're supposed to. Some people will be trained on how to do home dialysis, and then they'll get to home and decide they're going to reinvent the wheel and then kind of not do it according to the directions or the guidance of the nephrologist and the nurses. And so they may or may not succeed on it. So don't take another person's negative experience with home and transfer it to you doing home, because oftentimes your experience on home may be different than someone else's who didn't succeed on home therapies. So like I said before, people have more control, they have more freedom, they'll typically feel better, they have an improved sense of well-being. As a home dialysis patient, their blood is being cleaned more often. Another thing is that the fluid removal for home dialysis is much different than the fluid removal for in-center. Because remember, in-center is going to be 3 days a week, approximately 4 hours at a time. With home dialysis, if you're doing peritoneal, you're going to be pulling fluid every single day. And even though the diet is more liberal with regards to fluid, you still want to stick to about the 32 ounces, 48 ounces per day. But because the fluid is being pulled off more often, it's more gentle. It's not this bang to your system like it is on hemodialysis, where you pull off 4 or 5 kilos in a 4-hour period of time, and then you go home and you feel terrible, and then you don't start feeling better until the next day. Home dialysis is not like that because it pulls the fluid more often, so the rebound is not as hard as in-center. Home dialysis is not a panacea, it's not a picnic, it's not, oh, it's so easy, it's no problem. For some people, it's just like that. But oftentimes you may run into obstacles, or you may have hindrances to you doing it effectively. You may have hiccups along the way. And so patients sometimes are very quick to want to jump back into in-center with the very first problem that they have on home. And that's not what we recommend. We want you to work through any problems or issues you may have, because once you get through the initial phase of learning home, getting it right, getting the training down pat, it's smooth sailing after that. Once in a while you may have an issue, but typically a lot of patients, if you do the dialysis the way the nurse shows you, exactly how she shows you, you have done everything you can to be successful on home. And that's the biggest obstacle that I found that we have to deal with when educating patients about home dialysis. One of the biggest things that people complain about as far as doing home is that, I don't think I can do it right, Stephanie. What if I make a mistake? So that's one of the biggest things that the home therapy nurses and the home therapy team and myself as a promoter of home dialysis, you're always trying to overcome that. You're always trying to say, hey, the nurse will train you as long as you need to be trained to do it appropriately. They want you to succeed. They're not going to sling you on home and you not do a good job. Yeah, that's my dog. He decided to, I guess, video bomb me while I'm videotaping. So he's gone now. Hopefully he will not be back, but he might be. So that little pitter-pat, pitter-pat, pitter-pat is him walking in the dining room. I love him. He's so funny. But yeah, like I was saying before, building up the patient's confidence that they can do it, that they can be successful, or that they can learn the therapy and do it appropriately is one of the biggest hurdles to getting a patient even interested in wanting to pursue home. So I don't want to make this video too long, but like I said, those are the benefits to doing home. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some really good information. And please subscribe to my channel, press that notification bell so that you can be alerted to new videos when they drop.